ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षु उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतान् पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सहगजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखां स्वितंश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नामस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती इति नामिने शिवशभानावि देवी दायिताय कृपद्भवे कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः आद्योज्वला प्रेमाद्या श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौरा करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत ध्वांत हारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्ध अपसिद्धांत ध्वांत हारिणे नमो गौरा किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्रलंब रसाम्बोधे पदम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्ति विनुताय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगावराय ते गौराविर्भाव भूमे स्त्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौमो श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तारूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशवस्य च विष्णु भक्ति प्रदे देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः श्री नरसिम्हा जय नरसिम्हा जय जय नरसिम्हा प्रह्लादेश जय पद्मा मुख पद्मा भृंगा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Now we will start reading from 2012. Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu, shall I start? Krishna Keshav Prabhu?
I was thinking I will read for half an hour and then give it over to you. Then you can start it.
Yes, brilliant. I'm giving the control to you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
It will start from page 169 from 2002. I'm giving the control back.
2002 Vyasa Puja offering.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Over to you.
So I will read for half an hour and then I will give you the next. You can continue. Okay, Prabhuji?
Bilkul say.
Okay. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. So, continuing to read My Memories of Srila Prabhupada, written by His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami, page number 169, 2002 Vyasa Puja offerings for Krishna. One second. sorry, 2002. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namini. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatare. Srila Prabhupada, I'm not as outgoing as or dynamic as I could be. In a world that needs Krishna now, I spend considerable time sitting, reading, writing, and reflecting. You described that you had built the skyscraper framework of the Krishna consciousness movement, and that we, your disciples, should fill in it. But to do that effectively requires more than merely supplying building materials. Even if the framework is firm, to affix poor quality bricks or add good quality bricks without having proper knowledge of construction may result in structure that, albeit large, is yet dysfunctional and possibly even dangerous, rather than a facility in which the whole world can live safely and securely. Considering this, I have been investigating the nature of the materials that build the house of bhakti in this world. With your teachings as the basis, I am researching and gradually writing books on the principles and details of Varnashrama Dharma, Sadhana Bhakti, Vaishnava behavior, Guru-disciple relationships, and other important topics. Obliged to teach others or your order, I also travel preaching what I have learned from you as you have taught us to do. Srila Prabhupada, please help me gain realization of how to appropriately apply your instructions in this complex world. Please bless me with good intelligence and competent assistance so that I may quickly complete these writing projects. Moreover, please bless me with a long life so that I may help in practically demonstrating these concepts in action, thereby further bringing to fruition your dream of a Krishna conscious world. Ever desiring your service, I remain your apprentice, Bhakti Vikasa Swami. 2003. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatare. Srila Prabhupada, there are innumerable ways in which you can be glorified. In this offering, I want to focus on what you have done for me and who and what I am in relation to you. To others, it may seem egoistic that I write about myself. But this offering is meant primarily for you and only marginally for others. Srila Prabhupada, the more I attempt to glorify you, the more I realize how extraordinarily great you are and how totally insignificant and minuscule I am. Thus, I more and more appreciate your extraordinary mercy to have engaged in your mission, someone as low as myself. Who am I to act as a spiritual leader? To go from place to place and speak about the most exalted, purest of the pure Lord Shri Krishna. It would be most fitting that I be beaten with shoes and rejected from any assembly of pious persons. Instead, I am often offered honor and respect, but that is only because of my relationship with you, Srila Prabhupada. For I am a very ordinary person from a very ordinary background of lust, sin, and illusion. Devotees are so kind to me due to my connection with you, as I happen to be one of the many persons sprinkled with drops from the tremendous ocean of mercy you so kindly brought. Devotees honor me and tolerate my many faults and insufficiencies because I am yours. I was and am a crow. You are making me dance like peacock. As you yourself wrote in utmost humility, You say that before meeting one, you could not read or write. So that is all Krishna's grace. If he likes, he can make a crow into a peacock. That is his grace. Krishna consciousness is so valuable that it plays wonderful, and there are many instances within our society. Similarly, I was a crow and now they consider me a peacock. But I was trying to be peacock whenever there was opportunity. I took the endeavor to publish the Back to Godhead, but I wasted so much time. Ultimately, Krishna saved me. Letter to Hamsaduta, 14th November 1974. Srila Prabhupada, you have made me an example of how your extraordinary potency can act through even the most unlikely instruments. My realization is meager. Because you want me to repeat your message, I must strive to do so. And my speaking does have some effect for at least a few listen and a few feel benefited. Yet I know it cannot be my potency or realization that is affecting them, for I have virtually none. It must be that you, Srila Prabhupada, are working through me. Srila Prabhupada, I don't want to compete with you. Such an attempt would anyway be impossible, for competition can only be between equals or near equals. Of course, I could make a show of being realized as you, or nearly as realized as you, or even more advanced. Crazy it may sound, there will be always be enough gullible fools to comprise the supporting cast in such a farce. In the past, some of your disciples have enacted such dramas, even successfully for some time, until finally being pummeled into infamy and degradation. So, let it be clear that I am a struggling neophyte clinging to your lotus feet as my only hope. You are the great personage chosen by Lord Chaitanya to fulfill his heart's desire of kirtan all over the world. You are uniquely great even among Mahabhagavatas. If I am able to give any illumination to others, it is as stars reflect the sun. If I properly represent you as an emissary, that is my glory. Dear Srila Prabhupada, it seems most likely that in this lifetime I will develop an accomplished scholar, musician, singer, expert manager, or great preacher, nor do I have much aptitude for deity worship or cooking. Here I am struggling to chant 16 rounds, so what should I hope to achieve? Nevertheless, a real disciple is he who has embraced the spirit of service. So I must do my utmost to serve you as well as I can, despite my incompetence and without being carried away by delusions or grandeur if my efforts sometimes yield success. Srila Prabhupada, please guide me to discriminate between what is possible for me and what is not, what is required for me and what is not, and please engage me eternally in the service of your mission. Yogat vichara kichu nahi pai, tomara karuna sar. In examining my eligibility for devotional service, I find none. Therefore, your mercy is essential. Srila Prabhupada, you echoed these words of Bhaktivinoda Thakur by presenting yourself as one of us. Actually, we are all conditioned souls, so our demand from Krishna to accept us is undesirable. From my personal point of view, I think that I am so sinful that I cannot even approach Krishna to show me any favor. But I have only one hope, my spiritual master. He is very kind. So some way or other, he has dragged me towards Krishna. That is the only hope. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita says, therefore, Guru Krishna, by the mercy of spiritual master and by the mercy of Krishna, one gets into Krishna consciousness. Narad Muni is our original spiritual master, and he has dragged so many fallen souls into towards Krishna. We also hoping to be dragged by him through the disciplic succession. Otherwise, If we study our own qualifications, there is none. Rather, I have got so many disqualifications. Letter to Brahmananda Prabhu, 10th March 1969. Srila Prabhupada, you said you certainly possess all transcendental qualities, among them the extraordinary humility to pray as if devoid of good qualities. But such self-depreciation is actually those words of yours and my actual position in relationship to you and your dearmost Lord Krishna. Lest I think of myself according to what others say about me, sadhu, scholar, fundamentalist, and so on. Of course, I am not worthy of such compliments, but it is a fact that the process of self-realization you have given us is so exalted, especially in comparison to the fallen condition of the world today, that if anyone simply tries to follow your instruction, repeat them to others, it will surely be appreciated at least by devotionally inclined persons. Srila Prabhupada, I pray for the spiritual strength and equilibrium of mind to remain in your service till the time of leaving this body and beyond. And though it is not at all necessary, I be remembered after my departure. Nevertheless, should anyone care to do so, then I aspire that it may not be as a sadhu, scholar, or whatever, My glory and the fulfillment of life will be if others say, he was a faithful servant of Srila Prabhupada. He genuinely believed in the words of his spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada, a godbrother of yours, once told me, my guru was like a lion, your guru like a lion, and you should also be like a lion. Considering that lions do not give birth to rabbits, I am trying to be wholesale. I am trying to be your worthy disciple by repeating your words and speaking strongly as you did, for which some members of your movement criticize me. Who are you to talk like this? We have been so many hardliners talk big things only to fall down and make fools of themselves. What is the guarantee that won't you also won't fall down? In reply, I may contend, undoubtedly it is true that undoubtedly it is true that if I ever disconnect myself from the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada, then that act in itself would render me fallen. But although I and thousands of others may come and go, Srila Prabhupada and his instructions will trump over the material energy. Srila Prabhupada's words are always glorious, and so is the endeavor to glorify Srila Prabhupada by repeating them. I am certainly not fit to do so. I agree that it is simply my imprudence in doing so. But Shastra states that the disciple should praise the Guru and repeat his instructions. So why should I deny my desire to glorify Srila Prabhupada? If you think that I will fall down, then better I take this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada now, before my intelligence becomes spoiled. Certainly, I must unceasingly pray to Srila Prabhupada to purify my consciousness by constant meditation on his lotus feet. And if I follow his instructions carefully on his lotus feet.
You're missing some lines. Yeah.
Actually, it is a whole white, na? So
Uh-huh.
it happens, white lines get jumbled up.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I'm magnifying it so that I could see clearly. Maybe this will help me. Thank you for reminding me. I think, but Shastra states, I think from there I should start. No.
So why should I deny my desire to glorify Srila Prabhupada?
So why should I deny my desire to glorify Srila Prabhupada? If you think that I will fall down, then better I take this opportunity to glorify Srila Prabhupada now, before my intelligence becomes spoiled. Certainly, I must unceasingly pray to Srila Prabhupada to purify my consciousness by constant meditation on his lotus feet. And if I follow his instructions carefully and don't commit offenses, then I can stick tightly to his lotus feet without falling away. Fit or unfit, I must endeavor to speak right and purified. Though my words may be infected with nasty consciousness, madness, lethargy, duplicity, dullness, desire for name and fame, anger, envy, immaturity, anarchy, tamogun, rajogun, maybe a little sattvagun, and millions of inauspicious qualities piled on thickly in innumerable ghastly layers, still I must attempt to repeat what Srila Prabhupada said. That is glorification of Srila Prabhupada and is automatically auspicious. I must try to glorify Srila Prabhupada despite my inability. Same thing we have to do here. Srila Prabhupada, please give me engaged in your service. Keep me engaged in your service and in the service of your servants, while always remembering my actual position. Jagai madhai hoite muitse papishta, purisher kit hoite muise lobhishta. I am a worse sinner than Jagai and Madhai, and I am lower than worms in stool. Praying to be your Das eternally, Bhakti Vikasa Swami. 2004. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine. Srila Prabhupada, I worship you by attempting to present your message to others without change. Others may dilute or distort your teachings, but I shall not. I believe this is the best way to worship you, and indeed that anything less than this is not actual worship, but only a hypocritical show that cannot be satisfying to you. Please make me your instrument, however tiny, in your mission of kicking out cheating religion from the world, beginning from within your own house. Wishing to be accepted as your genuine servant, Bhakti Vikasa Swami. Asterisk. Submitted for inclusion, but not featured in the Vyasa Puja book of 2004. 2005. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine. In Calcutta on 16 Ashwin 1337 Bengali calendar corresponding to 23rd October 1930, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke the following. Our Gurudev was not an instructor in any subject concerned with the enjoyment of this material world. Again, he was the sole unmistaking judge of all topics of this world. But I am deprived and fallen because of my weakness. Not everything Sri Gurudev said entered my heart. But let me have millions of tongues and millions of heads to repeat whatever entered my ear by his mercy, and lifespan of millions of years in unlimited universes for broadcasting descriptions of his incomparable non-harmful compassion. That will be my Guru Puja. He will be satisfied and being pleased with will shower unlimited benediction, by which I will be able to broadcast descriptions of his mercy and even more millions of tongues. On that day, I will get relief from the glorification of all topics concerned with that of destruction, destructible illusion, and from all kinds of mundane education within the universe. Like one offering Mandakini like one offering Mandakini to Ganga, I offer the above quote at the lotus feet of His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is fulfilling the desires of his most memorable Gurudev by preaching his message and glories throughout the universe. Srila Prabhupada, please be pleased with my attempt to glorify your Gurudev. By that attempt, maybe you will you be all the more glorified, and thus grant me the benediction to you to be able to eternally glorify the lotus foot dust of our acharyas. Offered with prayers for your mercy, which is indispensable for me by the most miserable Bhakti Vikasa Swami. 2006. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश. Srila Prabhupada, I am completely dependent on your mercy. Completely means completely, not 90% or 99.9% or 99.999%. Completely, 100%. I have no ability or strength or intelligence of my own. Whatever I am in Krishna consciousness is due only to your mercy. And my many failings are simply my own nonsense. Due to my own offensiveness and unwillingness, I haven't gone very far in devotional service, and that I am still on the path in is due only to your mercifully not kicking me away as I deserve, but keeping me engaged. All my attempts in sadhana, preaching, and other endeavors in Krishna's service depend entirely on your mercy, and without which I am nothing. Only if imbued with your mercy can my activities be successful. A realization of dependence on the Guru's mercy naturally arises early in the spiritual career of a disciple. So it might seem strange that I am expressing such a sentiment after a relatively long period in your service. These feelings are not new to me, but recently struck me afresh as I was considering how some of my disciples, flowers, whom you have sent to be prepared for offering to Krishna, apparently feel toward me. They may think I am great and wonderful, but I am not. Srila Prabhupada, you are great and wonderful. Remembering your greatness and my smallness keeps me safe under the shelter of your lotus feet. For me to accept disciples is certainly risky. But if I just remember that your mercy is all that I made of, and that my duty is to transmit that message to others, then I will remain safe. I am inadequate, but you carry what I lack and preserve it by your mercy. Happily bowing down at your lotus feet, I pray millions of times to be your truly humble servant, Bhakti Vikasa Swami. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Damodar Prabhuji.
I can take it over.
Hare Krishna.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can continue, Prabhu.
Yeah, I will take the control and then.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Hare.
So, Prabhuji, you can continue, and you're recording, huh?
Yes, yes.
And you can give the link. I will give the link of the book down in the chat board.
Please.
And yeah, so that they can order this book.
Continuing 2007. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Srila Prabhupada, when you were personally manifest in our presence, it was clear to most of your disciples that even though some were relatively senior and advanced in comparison to you, we were all micro midgets. Your position was exceptional, even among your god brothers. Nothing has changed. You are simply the best. There's no comparison with what you have done and how you continue to profoundly influence innumerable people. Without disrespect to the many sincere souls practicing Krishna consciousness and trying to follow in your footsteps, your extraordinariness remains remains axiomatically unique for those sane enough to acknowledge it. Although it is impossible to fully understand or describe what makes you so outstanding, even among saints, one major aspect is your intense desire to please Guru and Krishna, which manifests through your unflagging attempts to awaken every living being to his real identity as an eternal servant of Krishna and to cultivate even the slightest inclination he might have toward acting in that capacity. Moreover, despite being so far above all, you consider yourselves not master but servant of everyone. You are totally selfless. You have given yourselves to Guru and Krishna and are one with a desire to give Krishna to every jiva in the universe. You are certainly in a category apart from those who foolishly advertise or imply themselves to be more realized or intelligent than you. As a fully surrendered servant of the parampara, you never compromise for the sake of pleasing the public or gaining cheap fame or popularity. Nor do you exploit disciples to fulfill personal desires. Not do you act the role of what others thinks a sadhu or a premi bhakta should be, but are always naturally and unaffectedly absorbed in serving Krishna. For these and innumerable other reasons, I feel so fortunate and grateful that Krishna sent you and no one else to be my Guru. To earn your blessings and properly glorify you requires imbibing your quality of wholly guileless sincerely, of wholly guileless sincerity. Neither flattery, sentimental or fanatical adulation, or formal praise can fool or satisfy you. It seems impossible to attain the standard of Krishna consciousness that you have exemplified, but it is easy because you make it easy. That is your mercy. And that we are entirely dependent on your mercy is not simply a platitude, as evidenced by the various litters of tigers by your mercy now reconverted into mice. You are a genuine Mahabhagavad, an empowered representative of Krishna, fully capable of bestowing his mercy upon all conditioned souls and thus delivering them back to his lotus feet. Even though I am one of the most severely contaminated person upon whom your merciful glance has fallen, you are so kind that you engage me in the exalted service of delivering your message so that others may attain the divine grace you so mercifully distribute. I pray to always treasure these simple, quintessential, and powerful truths upon which all spiritual endeavors depend, remembering your warning to protect the valuable jewel of spiritual love from thieves and burglars, and being increasingly surrounded by pseudo intellectuals, diluters, and committed doubters, I cling to the lifetime of my connection with you, without which whatever little Krishna consciousness I have imbibed is doomed. Srila Prabhupada, to aspire to be your servant is no small thing. Even great demigods and the inhabitants of Vaikuntha can hardly recognize the value of such a position or become eligible for it. Yet you have planted in this otherwise thoroughly disqualified person the desire for eternal service at your lotus feet. Indeed, only you and Krishna know how severely disqualified I am for such a boon, and only you and Krishna are merciful and powerful enough to nonetheless make me worthy and fulfill my aspiration. Bhakti Vikas Swami, 2008. Dear Srila Prabhupada, Please accept my most respectful and grateful obeisances in the dust of your divine lotus feet. Among the numerable priceless gifts you have given us is daily recitation during Brahma Muhurat of the enchantingly sweet Shri Guru Ashtakam. Through this divine offering by Vishwanath Thak- Through this divine offering by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to his Gurudev, he has wonderfully summarized the quintessential qualities of all Gaudiya Mahanta Gurus. Yet from my plane, it seems that some of the stanzas of Sri Guru Ashtaka particularly describe your divine grace. For example, Srila Chakra, Chakravarti Pad For example, Srila Chakravarti Pad begins by acclaiming the Guru's mercy, and I, being samsara dava nalalidal, and hence particularly in need of mercy, naturally reflect that among the many Mahanta Gurus who have come to this world to assist Lord Chaitanya in spreading Krishna consciousness, you are the one who superlatively and uniquely rained down his mercy of pure elixir, the only genuine antidote for the forest fire of material existence, brought directly from the auspicious ocean of transcendental qualities. After describing throughout the next 6 verses some of your prominent divine characteristics, in the last stanza, Srila Chakratipad again indicates the crucial significance of your mercy. Guru Kripa is essential even for elevated souls, but for us Western barbarians, whom you have ministered to with extraordinary compassion, its significance is multiplied exponentially. As you ascertain, the people on this planet have no capacity for any type of austerity and are neither very capable of study nor very pious. The only thing they are able to do is somehow take shelter of your feet. Simply by a little smile from your benevolent lotus lips, Krishna's mercy is attained and the whole spiritual realm is open to us. But without your mercy, then however else we attempt to please Krishna, we remain forever cut off from him. Mercy, Prasad, is also the subject of the fourth stanza, which describes distribution of sanctified food, an activity central to your mission. Gaudiya Guru, Gaudiya Guru, prevenient to your divine grace, tended to emphasize Lord Chaitanya's instruction, Bhalo na Kaibe, do not eat nicely. But on indication for Shila Chakravarti Pad, you found in Prasad a merciful means to bring persons of the lowest level of consciousness, Annamaya, to the highest Anandamaya. You personally relish Sri Bhagavat Prasad and happily arranged that your disciples and the whole world do so. We also saw you jumping and dancing while relishing the mellows of Mahaprabhu Kirtana and eagerly, constantly, and unlimitedly glorifying Sri Radhika Madhava and serving them in their enchanting deity forms with devotion so manifest that even a stone hearted soul like myself could understand that you are on the same platform as Hari, Sakshat Dharitvena, and very dear to him. Kintu Prabhu Ya Priya. The Vaishnava's mercy is always available to those who sincerely beg for it. So on this occasion, I crave from you the boon to forever glorify you through Sri Guru Ashtaka. Srila Chakravarti Pad offers to those who recite this prayer the blessings of direct service to Krishna in Vrindavan. So I hopefully and eagerly anticipate that, despite my being wretched and disqualified, you will ultimately take my hand and lead me to the groove of Sri Vrajadham, so to eternally assist you in serving the divine couple. I'm still very, very far, seemingly impossibly far, from being fit for such a boon. But I'm confident, just as you have lifted me from the gutter and engaged me in the devotional service, you can take me all the way back to Godhead. Right here and now, I'm extraordinarily fortunate to be participating in your distribution of mercy within the Sankirtan mission of Karuna Avatar Shri Sachinandana Gaurahari, the combined form of Shri Radha Madhava. For all these gifts, we should meditate upon and offer obeisances at your lotus feet, not just 3 times a day, but at every moment. All glories to your lotus feet, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to those of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and to those of all the previous acharyas, the dust of which you have sprinkled upon us. All glories to the supreme object of worship of the Gaudiyas, Sri Radha Madhava, in the bowers of Vrindavan. Aspiring for your mercy to attain eternal service therein, you're otherwise totally unqualified, Bhakti Vikas Swami. 2009. 2009. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedant Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine नामश्रेष्ठं मनुम् अपि सचिपुत्रम् अत्र स्वरूपं रूपं तस्याग्रजम् उरुपुरीं माधुरीं गोष्ठावतीं राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरम् अहो राधिका माधवाशां प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतितः कृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि. I bow to my spiritual master by whose profuse mercy I have received the supreme holy name, the divine mantra, the son of Sachi, Lord Chaitanya, Swarup Damodara, Rupa Goswami, and his older brother Sanatan Goswami, the supreme abode of Mathura, the abode of Vrindavan, Radhakund, Govardhan Hill, and the desire for service to Sri Radhika and Madhav. Mukta Charita Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Footnote: this translation is as I had composed it. Unfortunately, it was rendered differently in the published Vyas Puja book. Srila Prabhupada, having completed 20 years attempting to serve you in the sannyas ashram, I must first thank you for giving me the opportunity to render service to you throughout my life by traveling, speaking, writing, and preaching. Of course, ultimately, ashram is unimportant in Krishna consciousness, and at best, I am a castor plant. Kali Yuga excuses for a sannyasi. Yet I must still thank you for saving me from any black hole tragedies, for protecting and sustaining me in the difficult sannyas ashram, and for giving me the freedom to preach without concern for personal maintenance and without entanglement from children, wife, home, and the rest. I am very happy in your service. Atma Nivedana Tuva Pade Kori, Honu Parama Sukhi, Dukha Duri Gelo, Chinta na Rohilo, Chaudi ke Ananda Deki. I have become supremely happy by surrendering myself at your lotus feet. Sorrow has gone far away, and worry has not remained. Everywhere I see bliss. Saranagati Shila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Of course, being your sannyasi brings great responsibility. Sannyas is meant neither for luxurious living nor carefree wandering, but for performing significant service. You wanted your disciples to be recognized for their greatness, not the greatness attained by hype or by collecting sentimentalists and sycophants, nor of attaining a high position from which to exploit others, but the greatness that follows total surrender and utter humility. Srila Prabhupada, my lack of significant service to your lotus feet, despite having all opportunity to perform it, sadly speaks of my dearth of both surrender and humility. Therefore, on this day, I beg your mercy that I may at last rectify myself and serve you as I properly should. May I cast aside all petty ambition and become a true disciple of such a glorious master as your divine grace. You have given us everything, Srila Prabhupada. Via the Hare Krishna mantra, you have given us Radha Krishna and the whole spiritual world. Prabhupada handed Robert a small piece of paper with a Hare Krishna mantra printed on it. Robert, while Swamiji was handing it to me, he had his big smile on his face, like he was handing me the world. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita. Srila Prabhupada, you are the one who can bring me to the spiritual world. You have opened the door, showed me the treasure therein, and commissioned me to bring others also. I attempt to do that by exhorting them to heed your message. In a world dangerously spinning towards pandemonium, your message is urgently needed more than ever. For you have offered all solutions to the myriad confusions facing society, even before others were aware of the problem. There has never been a more vital nor better time for preaching. Throughout the world, people are eager to take your books and hear your message. Please empower us, for the favorable factors are complicated by innumerable hurdles, not the least of which is the state of your ISKCON, which in essence is non different from you, and being the prime medium of service to you is the means whereby our relationship with you is maintained and nourished. Vyas Puja offerings are not meant for airing gripes, but I cannot but express concerns for your movement. Various compromises and deviations, excess, 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 exacerbated by pronounced leadership problem, exacerbated by the pronounced leadership problems, and making your house a precarious one in which to live. The challenges are enormous, and we can overcome them only by invoking your mercy and recalling how you remain steadfast amidst apparently insurmountable obstacles. You triumphed by your full commitment to do the unimaginable, deliver Krishna consciousness to a degraded and apathetic populace. Your success formula is the only one that has ever or will ever work in the spiritual sphere. Invoking the mercy of the previous Acharya by having full faith in their words and full dependence upon their favor. We too can achieve the impossible by reverting to the same principle, the one you insensately taught. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chitete Koriyakya, Aruna Karyo Mane Asa. Whatever happens, Srila Prabhupada, I want to stay with you. I know that you are always with me, despite my often almost willful forgetfulness. Despite my often almost willful forgetfulness of you, I feel your potency charging me when I speak and write. Otherwise, how could I even dream of speaking and writing for Krishna? If you wish, you can make me a vessel for delivering your message in a manner we now can hardly envisage. Your mercy is all that I am made of, praying to ever remain in the shelter of your lotus feet and in that of your true followers. Bhakti Vikas Swami. 2010. Srila Prabhupada, I desire to attain your full mercy by placing upon my head the dust of your lotus feet, and thereby receive the concentrated essence of all the mercy of all the Vaishnavas that has ever been available in the history of the universe. Bhakta pada dhuli ara bhakta pada jala, bhakta bhukta avasesha tina mahabala. The dust of the feet of a devotee, the water that has washed the feet of a devotee, and the remnants of food left by a devotee are three very powerful substances. E tina seva hoite Krishna prema haya puna puna sarva shastre fu kariya kaya. By rendering the service to these three, one attains the supreme goal of aesthetic love for Krishna. In all the revealed scriptures, this is loudly declared again and again. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya 16.60 to 61. Srila Prabhupada, to receive the dust of your lotus feet on my head would be the ultimate perfection of my existence. But such a benediction is not very easily attained. While it might be considered that disciples have an inalienable right to access the mercy of their Guru's feet, And although some Mayavadis and Prakriya Sahajya Sadhu unreservedly bestow their foot dust even to casual visitors, Acharyas of our parampara has been more circumspect. In your purport to verses 1.17.244 to 45 of Chaitanya Charitamrita, you have stated, this holding of great personalities' lotus feet, it's certainly very good for the person who takes the dust. But this example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's unhappiness indicates that a Vaishnava should not allow anyone to take dust from his feet. One who takes the dust of a great personality's lotus feet transfers his sinful activities to that great personality. Unless the person whose dust is taken in a very strong, he must suffer the sinful activities of the person who takes the dust. Therefore, ordinary it should not be allowed. Sometimes in big meetings, people come to take the same advantage by touching our feet. On account of this, sometimes we have to suffer from some disease. As far as possible, no outsider should be allowed to touch one's feet to take dust from them. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally showed this by his example. Sri Chaitanya Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God himself. But he was playing the part of a preacher. Every preacher should know that being allowed to touch a Vaishnav's feet and take dust may be good for the person who takes it, but it is not for the good for the person who allows to be taken. As far as possible, this practice should ordinarily be avoided. Only initiated disciples should be allowed to take the advantage, not others. Those who are full of sinful activities should generally be avoided. Several devotees had confirmed that at least up until around 1970, it was fairly common that disciples and committed newcomers would touch your lotus feet. But that changed. Udayananda Prabhu recalled that in 1974, when being awarded Gayatri Mantra by you, he asked permission to touch your lotus feet, and that you smiled and replied, "That is not necessary." By 1975, when I was mercifully accepted into ISKCON, senior devotees would routinely warn juniors not to touch your feet, informing us that you did not like it, which is understandable for a guru who had thousands of disciples. And only to a fortunate few did your lo- and only to a fortunate few did your divine grace award the massive benediction of placing your lotus feet upon their head. You once did so in 1968 in Montreal on the request of the three householder couples whom you had prepared for preaching in England. The benediction of receiving the dust from the lotus feet of a Mahabhagavat is so rarely bestowed that apparently some special qualification beyond formal discipleship is required for achieving it. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati once told some respectable ladies of Dhaka who had come to worship him and who apparently expected to touch his lotus feet, for those inclined to freely touch anyone's feet, I recall the words of my Gurudev. Why do they so boldly stretch out their hands to take the dust from the feet of a sadhu? They, do they really consider themselves sufficiently qualified? Although Srila Gaurakishodas Babaji Maharaj always strictly forbade anyone to touch his feet, he once voluntarily placed them on Sri Siddhanta Saraswati's head. What was the difference between those who were refused such a benediction and that personage upon whom it was happily bestowed? What is the qualification to receive the dust of a Mahabhagavat's lotus feet? A great pure devotee, such as your divine grace, comes to this world only due to causeless mercy, with the sole intention to distribute mercy. Yet that mercy is bestowed upon some more than others, for not all recipients are equally eager to receive it. Just as a duck who quacks the most incessantly is given more food, devotees who sincerely cry out for special mercy thus qualify themselves for it by dint of their strong desire to be blessed with an opportunity for intimate service. The devotees who are embarking for London in 1968 were on a mission most dear to you, yet apparently almost impossible to execute. They were attempting to emulate a feat nearly parallel to what your divine grace had accomplished, to go to an unknown country with no local friends or support, and with very little money, and introduce the foreign culture of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. They were six rather than being alone, as you had been. Unlike in your case, they were backed by a movement, albeit distant, fledgling and unrecognized. And they also had the example of your prior success. Still, the likelihood of their success might seem to have been even less than yours was when you set out for America, because they lacked your maturity, your lifelong absorption in the culture and philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and your zenith purity. Both in your going to America and in your householder disciples' venture to England, the crucial asset was total faith in and commitment to fulfill against all odds the will of the spiritual master. Such wholeheartedly faith in the spiritual master and such determination to execute his order, even in the most trying of circumstances, and without considering personal convenience, loss, or gain, is to my understanding the essential qualification for attaining the complete unreserved mercy of the spiritual master. A true disciple's desire is one with that of his guru. He maintains no doubt about his guru, nor any ambition other than to serve him. And when a spiritual master sees a disciple thus qualified, he voluntarily places his feet on that disciple's head. Then on mercy flows through unobstructed, and the seemingly impossible becomes a reality. But such mercy is neither cheap nor easily attained. Surely, Srila Prabhupada, the dust of your lotus feet is sought by, yet difficult to achieve, even for great demigods and sages. Only to those who strongly, unfailingly, and guilelessly seek the mercy of a pure devotee is it unreservedly bestowed. Udayananda Prabhu related how he received your mercy far beyond his expectation or imagination. In Vrindavan in 1977, when you were enacting your pastime of prolonged sickness, quote, I had always had this desire to touch the lotus feet of the pure devotee, and this went back to the time when I was getting Brahman initiated in 1974. And I asked Srila Prabhupada, could I touch his lotus feet? Could I touch his feet? And Prabhupada said, no, what is that is not necessary. So here I am in Srila Prabhupada's room, and I look over and I see Trivikrama Swami, and he's massaging Prabhupada's feet. And I'm thinking, why is he getting all this mercy? But then I'm thinking, oh, I don't even deserve to be in this room. And then all of a sudden, Maharaj yawned, and I said, oh, Krishna. So I humbly came over to Maharaj and said, would it be okay if I took over and massaged Srila Prabhupada's feet? And he said, okay. I thought, oh my God, I don't believe this is really going to happen. So then Maharaj took me over and he showed me. So I was so gentle and I was massaging the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and got to massage him for 2.5 hours. Then at one point, Prabhupada looked up and said, who is massaging my feet? Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, oh, that's Udayananda Das. And Prabhupada said, oh, and then there was a and then there was this smile on Prabhupada's face, as if after all these years he was fulfilling my desire. Then, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he allowed me to massage his feet every day for the next 3 weeks. But I was thinking that I was the most fortunate soul in the whole universe at that time. My dear Srila Prabhupada, I have most woefully deprived myself of your full mercy by enough not strongly enough desiring it. Although it is available to all, I have not taken it. Examining myself after all these years of supposedly preaching Krishna consciousness, I cannot but admit that I am still nurturing insane hopes for sense gratification. I am simply a pretender. Yet, while lamenting my foolishness and hypocrisy, I must recognize that by your mercy, there also exists within my heart a desire to be done forever with all my nonsense and to thus become your actual disciple. Srila Prabhupada, notwithstanding my stupidity and knowing myself to be unqualified, I sustain the wish that you just once place your lotus feet on my head, this storehouse of wretched thoughts, and thus award me the kind of purification that cannot be attained throughout millions of lifetimes of other practices, not even by assiduously performing sadhana bhakti. By the mercy of your feet, I will receive the mercy of all previous acharyas and of Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Svitamscha. Such an opportunity is worth waiting millions of lifetimes for. I might not qualify for that mercy very soon, but the hope of attaining it keeps me alive, though blundering in service at your lotus feet. Praying to always have a place there, your aspiring servant Bhakti Vikas Swami. With that, we'll come to the end of reading for today from My Memories of Srila Prabhupada. As Prabhu mentioned in the beginning, there's a link to getting a copy of My Memories of Srila Prabhupada. Please, if you have it, good. You should gift it to others. Diwali, Dashera are good times to give books as a gift to your loved ones. So please take a copy. In case you want to get a sponsored copy, please write a mail to Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu or any of us, and we'll be very glad to assist in any kind of assistance we can be for any of you. So, thank you so much for joining in, enthusiastically reading every day. With that, we'll take your leave. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.